Greetings, crypto investors in the land of YouTube. What we have here is Bitcoin on the daily chart. Current pumpage blasted well past resistance in the low 40,000s. If you're watching, this is no news to you. But at the end of this video, I'm going to go run through a lot of up-to-date news information that you might find really valuable. So stay tuned for that. First, let me just have a quick little update analysis here. This white line here, 200-day moving average. Bitcoin is just blasted past that as well. There was an initial this is the daily chart. These are daily candles. August 7th, August 8th, basically bounced off the 200-day and was rejected. August 9th said, no, sirree, we're going past it, blasted through it. We've just opened the August 10th candle. This is the candle that will close 7 p.m. Central Time, August 10th. This dude went all the way up to 47,000, just shy of 47, 46.8, give or take, and is basically above the 200-day. So looking here for maybe it to come down. Has Bitcoin flipped the 200-day moving average? Is it going to be support now? This whole bull run, we've been above the 200-day since basically since the pump out of the COVID dump, back in that ballpark. That's a year and 4 months ago or so. So that's a long time. Elon Musk dumpage here. And I know I see comments saying, stop saying Elon Musk dumped this market. I don't know if a lot of people understand what I mean by that. Is Elon Musk has like 50 million Twitter followers. So people like that, without a doubt, yes, they can pump and dump this market. I know people might get confused thinking I'm saying that they're selling and buying their Bitcoin and they're the ones for making all this. That's, I think, maybe a little confusion there. There's people that have mass appeal, mass, I don't know what the word is. What's the word I'm looking for? There are people that can sway this market. This was without a doubt an Elon Musk dump here. He triggered it, right? He triggered it, and all the high leverage sold out, and then liquidations and panics. These are triggers. Every one of these bull trap, whatever you want to call them, these massive pumps and dumps. The pumps are triggered. The dumps are triggered. Elon Musk triggered this pump here from 39,000 to 58,000. He triggered this dump here from the 50,000s to 29,000, without a doubt, right? And basically, him and a couple other big-time investors basically panicked right here. July 18th, 19th, 20th. They had a B word conference. That was a panic move. They didn't want their investments to go underwater. They intentionally, this is an Elon Musk trigger. He triggered this pump. It's full of high leverage. And, in this, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but I just need to get this out. So he claimed, Elon Musk claims he doesn't pump and dump, but for every pump in this market, there's a dump. So yes, he, without a doubt, he literally is pumping and dumping this market. It's gross. I think it's just disgusting. I wish people like that weren't involved, because they really don't care about anyone else but themselves, even though they might act like they do. Elon Musk has no business in cryptocurrency. He doesn't know anything about it. But he's just super popular and has a lot of sway and influence. That's the word I was looking for. Mass influence. So there's going to be a dump coming at some point. I don't know when, but there's one coming, right? It's probably going to be at least, I'd say, a minimum of $12,000. So by the end of this week, as hard as I may believe, Bitcoin could be, by this weekend, Bitcoin could be back down here at 34,000, 32,000. That's just how this market is, right? So, but then it could also stay above the 200-day moving average, right? And even though this is an artificial pump, it could lead to something more sustainable. But it's just stupid. So while I'm on the subject, what I was saying, Bitcoin come down here would have attracted a lot of big time hodlers with a lot of money. They would have hodled for decades to come, maybe forever. I don't think they had a chance to get in, and I still think a lot of them are sitting on the sidelines. They're not going to get in up here, right? They're not going to put in billions and millions up here, right, in that buy box, right? Because they're not stupid, for lack of a better word. I don't want to offend anyone, but my opinion, and now this is just my opinion with a capital O, if Bitcoin would have been allowed to come down here and play out what it was probably trying to do, if it would have just been left alone, if it would have come down here, it would have been, no, I know a lot of you don't like watching basketball, but basically everyone out there has seen the game of basketball where a team works the ball around, right? Works the ball around team sport, and they find a open pass to the big man under the basket, right? And he's wide open, big 7-foot dude for a wide open, slammy, jammy monster dunk. In my opinion, that's what this would have been down here. I think that would have launched us maybe into a super cycle, or at least to finish out this bull run this year. What this is to me, this panic move by Elon Musk and a few others that didn't want their investment to go underwater. This is like a point guard or a small man at the out top dribbling the ball around, and he forgets about his whole team, and he just out of control, just out of control desperation panic move, right? Decides to just drive through the heart of the defense through 3, 4, 5 defenders, and he loses control of the ball, and the ball's bouncing off his knee and his elbow, and he's slapping for the ball, and then he throws up a shot off the bottom of the rim or the bottom of the backboard, and then he flails on the ground on a spinning dive 360 out of bounds into the first row of the crowd, right? That's what I see this as, and it's not going to end well. So I could be wrong, you know. Maybe some kind of glorious news comes out. But the thing is this pump is happening while the U.S. Senate is likely about to pass a bill Tuesday, I think is their final vote, where they have to actually vote. And it sounds like they're going to actually go with the original bill. That's really bad for the crypto industry. And it's a devastating blow to crypto, but it still has to go through the House, and it can still be altered. And it might eventually not be anything real bad for crypto, but it's real. This is not FUD, right? The lawmakers of the United States of America about to pass a devastating crypto tax bill. That's not FUD, man. This is real world stuff. And Bitcoin's been pumping into the heart of it. It makes no sense. So my basketball analogy, I really like it. I think this is just a one-man show, just driving through the heart of the defense, just out of control. The ball's bouncing around, and there's 20x, 100x leverage in here, and it's just propped up. And here comes the shot, desperation heave that bounces off the bottom of the rim, and it's just a terrible brick, and it's awful. And the whole crowd goes, "Ugh!" And the commentators go, "What is he doing?" And not to mention the ball stayed in bounds, and the other team has the ball, and now it's a 5-on-4 break, and they run down for an easy layup. So, okay, I think you got my opinion there. It is an impressive pump by Bitcoin, but just watch out, man. Watch out. Up-to-date info. And this is another story besides the U.S. lawmakers voting on a bill that would be bad for crypto. This is Gensler. I said commissioner before in the last video, didn't I? Chairman of the SEC. So the premise here is that crypto markets and exchanges don't have the same controls and protections as the stock market. No single regulator oversees them. So why is that? Many cryptocurrencies are classified as commodities, not securities. So there's kind of arguments either way there. So they're not under the purview of the Securities and Exchange Commission, but Security and Exchange Commission chairman believes many cryptos function like unregistered securities and should be SEC regulated. So the good, the bad, and the cryptic. The total market cap of cryptocurrencies skyrocketed this year as coins like Bitcoin, Ether, and Doge gained mainstream appeal. That's also led to more volatility, crypto scams, and money laundering. Now more countries are considering crypto regulation or are already enforcing it. So the SEC wants to protect crypto investors against fraud and manipulation, which actually is a valid concern, right? I'd be perfectly fine with the SEC banning Elon Musk from the cryptocurrency industry forever. I think that would be wonderful. To be honest with you, I don't think that's okay for people to be doing stuff like that. But the bad thing is crypto could become less synonymous and more regulated. So the European Union's already proposed tightening some rules like that, to be determined. Because it's limited previewed, SEC strategy is centered on suing token sellers case by case. Gensler is calling U.S. lawmakers to grant SEC more power to oversee the industry, but regulation could take years. So this is something to watch. Watch out for the U.S. lawmakers, right? The Senate that we've been talking about is voting on a bill Tuesday. Supposedly, they've been pushing it back because of this crypto issue. But this bill is going to be passed without a doubt shortly, because it's an infrastructure bill that we need. And they're probably just going to end up ignoring. I'll get to that here in a second. But watch out for that, right? If it becomes legal for the SEC to start punking cryptocurrency industry, that could be bad. But the thing about it is the blue chips like Bitcoin really can't be affected like that. But the rest of the cryptocurrency could. So I mean, it's case by case, I suppose. But it doesn't really sound like they're going after Bitcoin. It sounds like they're trying to actually maybe do something good for everyone. But there could be backhanded, alternative motives. So it's just going to play out over the coming years. Hopefully it gets finished out by the next bull run, the halving cycle of Bitcoin in 2024. Crypto's unregulated, decentralized, and hard to trace nature is core to its identity. Some enthusiasts want it to stay that way, but Gensler, the SEC, and some companies believe crypto's survival depends on regulation. That could be true. No rules and no regulation, this crypto industry is just kind of gross, right? Because it's money, and wherever there's money, there's growth, right? It's pretty simple. People, as long as people can't control themselves, right, then there's always going to be problems. It's too bad we have to have any rules whatsoever. Imagine how awesome the stock market would be and finance industry would be if everyone just knew right from wrong, right? We'd basically be in a utopian economy, right? Everyone could basically have everything they want if people would just do right instead of wrong. It's just so simple. It's okay, let's get back to this. Gensler says that like traffic lights and speed limits help make cars mainstream, oversight could boost trust in crypto and allow it to grow, which is absolutely true. Gensler's a sharp guy. He taught Bitcoin blockchain technology at Massachusetts Institution of Technology, MIT. He taught a course there on blockchain. So he actually does know what he's talking about. It just depends on if he knows right from wrong, and if he's actually looking out to do good things for people, or if he's, just a mouthpiece for something else. We'll find out. So a lot of times, if you're new to this, and even if you're not too new to it, you may not understand. In my videos, I want to make, I'm pretty sure there'll be lots of new people watching my videos. So I want to make sure that you understand when you hear all this great, glorious news about people accumulating, big billionaires and institutions accumulating. They're not doing it on this market. That stuff has nothing to do with this price. This is basically you and me and traders in here using extremely high leverage to short and long. Over the counter is where Bitcoin is being accumulated. Bitcoin is not being accumulated on a retail market. That's obvious, right? We're basically in the same spot we were at the beginning of 2021. That's not accumulation of any sorts. We were on the verge of a mass redistribution. But we had a point guard in basketball go out of control and just change the story, and everyone involved just went, ugh. You just don't know it yet. But so this is the over the counter around the world. What we're seeing in Asia. The tone of the Asia was mute. This is Monday. The bulk of Monday's activity consisted of routine stablecoin flow and traces of Bitcoin buy-side demand. Out of Europe, a slow start to the week brought in a modicum of interest from buyers and sellers. Though we saw a weak two-way flow in Bitcoin and ETH in the early hours of trading, the afternoon session brought out decently sized sellers of Bitcoin and ETH to conclude the day. In the Americas, a weekend rotation out of alts and into Bitcoin amid uncertainty surrounding the U.S. infrastructure bill flipped on Monday. The desk saw a big rotation out of Bitcoin and into Cardano, ETH, and Uniswap, which is strange. I'll get to that point here because this market seems discombobulated with the reality of what's going on. One of these articles, I'll get to it here. This is about Ethereum's London hard fork. A major change at Ethereum network's been implemented, changing the way transaction fees are handled. The network change called hard fork was named London. It could potentially reduce transaction fees and the circulating supply of ETH on the network. Germany lets some funds hold crypto. A new law allows certain institutional funds in Germany to invest up to 20% of their assets into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. That class of funds looks after 2.1 trillion in assets. So 2.1 trillion, 20% of that, that'd be a lot of money. U.S. stocks regulator offers crypto hints. The chairman, Gary Gensler, gave a speech outlining his thoughts on crypto regulation, coming out largely in favor of the emerging asset class. A U.S. exchange ETF traded fund for a crypto asset like Bitcoin remains an elusive and much anticipated product. So this probably, if there's an ETF that comes into existence for Bitcoin in the year 2021, that likely could be the bull run top, the all-time high for this halving cycle. If that ETF comes out, Bitcoin could pump heavy to it, and then from there it might gradually fall down. Just a speculation, but that could be how we get to 100,000. A Bitcoin ETF in the United States would be huge, bullish news. People would freak out. So here's the bit about Bitcoin I was talking about earlier. Bitcoin could dodge these new tax rules that are in the U.S. Senate right now. The lawmakers in the U.S. are proposing to exempt Bitcoin miners from potential new rules that would increase their tax liability. The rules are part of a major infrastructure bill that has wide-ranging implications for the crypto world. Here's another little tidbit of story. ATM leader plans crypto rollout. One of the world's largest ATM manufacturers, NCR, has acquired the crypto ATM firm LibertyX. I've tried to use these LibertyX to buy Bitcoin. There's one right across the street from my apartment. And I stood there for like a half hour trying to figure out how it works. LibertyX Bitcoin ATMs. I could not figure it out. So maybe a real ATM player buying that can fix that problem, because it was just awful. And I've seen videos on YouTube about how stupid they are. No offense, LibertyX. But the $73 million acquisition is intended to help NCR integrate crypto features throughout its network. So that's awesome. One of the world's largest ATM manufacturers bought a Bitcoin ATM company for $73 million. And now hopefully they can fix the problem with it. Because if anyone out there is like me, I was just standing there. I had no idea how to operate it. So I wasn't able to use it. Senators reach compromise on crypto tax provision in the infrastructure bill. So a lot of these articles are the titles. You got to watch out for misleading titles. It sounds great. They're saying they announced a compromise between Democrats, Republicans, and the Treasury Department on a contentious tax provision in the Senate's $1 trillion infrastructure bill. So it sounds like the senators that were trying to amend the original bill that was really bad for Bitcoin, it sounds like they won something. But then there were some other senators that came in and made an amendment that's even worse to counteract that. So the main problem was the word broker. They were going to try to say a lot of these cryptocurrencies are brokers. And it's impossible for that kind of blockchain technology to report people's individual tax obligations. So technically it would have made them operate illegal. And so this would be devastating to cryptocurrency industry. Bitcoin isn't really, this really won't affect a Bitcoin, but Ethereum and other ones like that could be really bad. If the senators who tried to fix the bill, if they were successful, software developers, node operators, validators would not be required to carry out or report transaction information, but brokers would be. So technically, brokers would probably be like the exchanges, like Kraken and BlockFi and Phoenix and Coinbase and Binance, right? I think those would be brokers who have customers that can be identified. It's kind of a squirrely little area to try to figure out. So a lot of these stories, they sound like, oh, the senators fixed the bill, but this is a must-pass bill, and they've been pushing it back day after day after day, and now they're saying Tuesday is the final day where they're going to vote on the bill, and they're going to pass this bill because we need it. It's already clear they're going to pass it right away. They're just stuck on this cryptocurrency thing. So basically, in a matter of hours from the time you watch this video, less than 24 hours, the Senate's likely to put a final vote to this. And here's the kicker, right? Here's the thing that a lot of people are missing or maybe intentionally ignoring. Unless the Senate can achieve unanimous consent on the compromise before a final vote by tomorrow, the legislative body will send the original provision to the House of Representatives. So it looks like they're actually going to they're just going to ignore both amendments, and they're going to send the original bill through, and they will pass it without a doubt. That's already common knowledge. This bill is going to pass. So it's kind of a stalemate, and they have to pass the bill. Long story short, this is a terrible, terrible thing for the crypto industry. Now, it still has to go through the House of Representatives, where it likely could be changed, and it won't be so bad for the crypto industry. But this is this is not FUD, folks. I don't understand why Bitcoin is pumping into this. We'll know. We should know shortly. It sounds to me like the bill that's devastating the cryptocurrency will indeed be passed as it is without the amendments, without the good for crypto amendment. And they're going to send it to the House of Representatives the way it's written. So basically, Ethereum and some altcoins and that kind of stuff are going to be considered brokers. And legally, they're obligated to report their customers' tax obligations to the IRS. But it's impossible for cryptocurrencies to do that because it's anonymous, right? So that's the problem. It's a huge problem. If this bill were to somehow stay intact through the House of Representatives and this became law, it would be devastating to the cryptocurrency industry. Absolutely devastating. Hopefully that won't happen. But if there's 3 senators for every if there's 3 senators for every 3 senators that try to do something good for crypto, if they just go back and forth, you never know, man. It could happen. So just be careful. But I hope you enjoyed this little video and hope you learned something, got some news out. Let me know if you like this news-oriented stuff. I'll let you get going now. As always, thanks for watching.